On May 29th, 2019, a video was released called The Luckiest Zelda Speedrun Ever. It went over one of the craziest speedrun records ever set. And what made this run truly amazing and groundbreaking was its luck. The odds of ever matching a luck in this run was less than a 1% chance. Thought to be the final record for this game, a time considered so good it could never go lower. But a speedrunner's worst enemy is time. And what happened to this game in the past 2 years would change everything. This, my friends, is the story of how the impossible was achieved. To fully understand what has changed in the past 2 years, we first need to take a look at what made the original record such a god run. In Easy Escape's video, he goes over how there are 3 main parts of the speedrun that makes it so punishing, and that is the 3 major luck elements: Sploosh Kaboom, Auction House, and the Helm King fight. For Sploosh Kaboom, you have to play the minigame Battleship, but not only do you have to beat the game, you have to beat it twice, and you only have a limited amount of shots at your disposal, so this was a major reset point in the speedrun. From analyzing all possible boards, you only had a 25% chance of beating it, even with a 1 minute time loss, and this took place 30 minutes into the run. The second luck part of this run was the Auction House, which you split up into 2 trips. On the first trip, the only purpose of going there was to obtain the Swift Sale, and for the second trip, we came back to purchase all the remaining items. The Auction House holds a total of 5 items, and each item has an equal chance of appearing. This means you only had a 20% chance to find the Swift Sale, and if you got any other item, you had to leave and retry, losing 45 seconds each time. Oh, and the second trip? It took place 4 hours into the speedrun. But last but not least, we had the Helmrock fight. This enemy has a lot of different patterns, and while he's on the ground, there are 3 separate attacks that he can perform. He can either peck the ground, stomp in the ground, or blow wind at you, and it's only when he pecks the ground that he's left vulnerable, and each time he lands on the ground, he can do up to 2 attacks. And after these attacks, Helmrock goes back into the air, and you just have to pray that it decides to land once again, because it can continue to charge attack you for an infinite amount of time. However, as you might have guessed at this point, all of these things went perfect. And this combined with great execution, the run finished off with a time of 5 hours, 34 minutes, and 53 seconds. After this record was set, many people thought this would be the end of this category. So what changed? Well, in this video, I would like to cover 3 things. What major routes were found in the past 2 years? What major glitches were found, and how they impacted the run? And most important of all, how we found ways to skip all 3 of these major luck elements in the speedrun. I hope you will enjoy. I would like to quickly mention that before we get further in today's video, I want to thank today's video sponsor for making this video possible, which is Raycon. Raycon has made a massive impact in the electronics industry as we know it by offering great wireless earbuds that start at only half the price of other premium audio brands. Raycon earbuds offer 6 hours of playtime, it has seamless Bluetooth pairing, and it offers great bass. And best of all, it is very comfortable design. It fits perfectly in your ear, and it blocks out any unwanted noise around you. And not only do they come in a wide range of different colors and patterns, but it also skips out on those wires and stems that can be so frustrating at times. I personally love being able to work outside with them in the garden and not having to feel the weight of a cable constantly pulling on them, or feeling the risk of the cable getting in the way of something. And best of all, Raycon is offering you 15% off your order by either clicking the link in the description or going to buyraycon.com/Linka7. And don't forget, Raycon has a 45-day free return policy. So really, what are you waiting for? The first major discovery that was found was in March of 2020, when a brand new way to skip Puppet Ganon was found. Normally when you reach Ganon's tower, you have to defeat Puppet Ganon, and after defeating him, a rope would drop down, allowing you to climb the tower, reach the rooftop, where the final Ganon fight would take place. However, it was discovered that on top of this arena, 3 morphs can be found surrounding a warp pot. Now, if you were to shoot one of these morphs with a fire arrow, they could bounce into the warp pot, setting the lid on fire and burning it up. Now sadly, during the Puppet Ganon fight, there's no way to shoot these morphs with a direct shot, since they're located on top of a platform. However, this platform is just thin enough where an arrow can actually travel through the bottom of the platform, which means that it is possible to hit them blindly, and if executed perfectly, not only would it remove one of the hardest boss fights from the run, but it would save over 3 minutes in the speedrun. Unfortunately, this is Wind Waker, and there's a big issue with this whole skip, and that is that the Zelda developers decided to make it completely luck-based on how far a morph bounces when it's hit. So even if you were to shoot the morph at the exact same angle every single time, this skip only has a 1 in 3 chance of working. And each time it doesn't work, you lose another minute and a half reattempting it. So after all this speedrun turned into was a major luck fest. So was that it for Wind Waker speedrunning? Were all speedruns from now on going to just be reset until you get perfect RNG? Well, what if I were to tell you that 3 out of 4 of these major luck elements will be solved in the next year? In enters the age of reverse engineering. Now, when it came to reverse engineering Wind Waker, I have a 20-minute video covering the entire process in detail on how it works, which you should definitely check out after this video. But to simplify, what we discovered is that when you start Wind Waker, the game always sets the same RNG value at its starting point, and it continues to tick up after that. What this means in simple terms is that every single time you play Wind Waker, all the boards that appear in the game will be generated in the exact same order. Now, things will get a little bit technical, but I'll try my best to keep this brief. Basically, there are 600,000 different squid patterns that are possible to be generated in the game. And by knowing the order in which these squid patterns appear, we can play out a game, put the exact squid pattern that you got into a program, and it can then look for exact matches for this pattern. We then generate a heat map. And this heat map is based upon where the most amount of squids are located in the next boards that follows your previous game. And with each shot, you can then figure out with more of a certainty exactly which board you're playing. And if used correctly, after only a couple of shots, the program should have figured out the pattern you got, guaranteeing you the win. This obviously was a major part in helping the speedrun become much more consistent and less reliant on RNG. But we're not done there. About a month ago, I released a video about a brand new glitch that was found called pause storage. This glitch basically works by opening up the options menu at the same time as you enter a loading zone. And after performing this glitch, it allows you to play the game while the options menu is still open, giving us an opportunity to both change settings as well as saving the game at any moment we want, even if you normally wouldn't have access to pause in the game. This can be done while, for example, talking to an NPC, or even in the middle of a cutscene, where you obviously normally wouldn't have access to this. And at first, this glitch was used for exactly what you might imagine. It was used to skip cutscenes purely, but it has now found even new use cases. In the auction house, for example, when you bid for an item, you can actually bid 999 rupees, which immediately halts the bidding process, and you will straight away win and receive your item. However, when you press the A button to receive this item, the game actually takes a split second before it takes away the rupees from your inventory. This means that if you have pause storage enabled, you can blindly bid for an item and then press the A button to save right after receiving it, obtaining it without having to pay for it. For the final 2 luck elements in the run, there wasn't much development done, since both of these are based upon enemy patterns. We did get a better understanding at how the Helmar King fight worked, which did make the fight a lot more consistent, but that's where things currently stand today. But in a speedrun, luck is only part of the puzzle. Glitches and skip play a much larger role, and a new major sequence break was quickly approaching. Normally, you have to visit Hyrule a total of 3 times. We already had a way to skip the 3rd and final trip to Hyrule thanks to the use of barrier skip in the run, but the first 2 trips were unfortunately not able to be skipped. And to fully understand why, we actually first need to understand how the Forsaken Fortress dungeon is set up. In 100%, you need to obtain every single item in the game, and this leads to some major issues if you want to play this area out of order. The 2 major items they were concerned with is the Skull Hammer and the Heart Piece, which you receive from defeating Phantom Ganon and Helmar King respectively. But to defeat Phantom Ganon, you need the Master Sword, and to defeat Helmar King, you need the Skull Hammer, which you receive from Phantom Ganon, which you can't do without the Master Sword. You see the issue that we run into. However, there's a silver lining in all of this. If you could somehow enter Helmar's fight without the Skull Hammer, and then get to the loading zone you normally only have access to after defeating the boss, you will then be taken to Hyrule. And best of all, this cutscene actually adds the Master Sword into your inventory because the game uses the Master Sword in the cutscene. And the glitches necessary to skip all of these things have been known for a very long time. So what is the issue then? Well, even if you were to do all of this and then return to Forsaken Fortress, defeating Phantom Ganon to receive the Skull Hammer, and then making your way to Helmrock's Tower, the game is actually going to crash once you enter the loading zone. This is due to the fact that this cutscene changes some very important flags in the game, and you simply can't rewatch the cutscene for a second time. But what was discovered in April of 2020 was that you can actually clip inside of the door leading to Helmrock's Tower, and then position Link right next to the area leading into the loading zone. And if you then got hit by a mini-blin and die in the same frame that you enter the loading zone, the cutscene will be entirely skipped, and thankfully, this also respawns Link right back into the fight. This skipped a huge portion of the run, because normally the first trip to Hyrule actually features over 5 minutes of pure cutscenes. So this was absolutely massive. Other major changes came around in early 2021, where faster strats were found for both the Earth Temple and Wind Temple. Let's look at Earth Temple first. In this dungeon, you get a companion by the name of Medli. And Medli is supposed to come with you throughout the entire dungeon, and there are multiple puzzles that require the use of both Link and Medli at the same time. And then, there's also Song Stones, which basically act as a failsafe in case you somehow are able to proceed without Medli. So for the entire time you've speedrun Wind Waker, you have always brought Medli along with us, including the luckiest Zelda speedrun ever run. But what we found out is that there is actually a way around all of these. To better understand how all of these skips were made possible, I first quickly need to go over the different ways in which we can clip through walls and go out of bounds in this game. There are two main methods used, known as ledge clips and roll clips. Ledge clips can be performed by dropping a bomb next to a wall and then having the player grab a ledge, so Link is positioned in between the bomb and the wall. If you now press the analog stick left to go towards the bomb is actually going to push you away in the opposite direction with a lot of momentum. This will result in Link going right through the wall, placing Link out of bounds. And for the second method, known as a roll clip, it works by grabbing a ledge partially inside of a wall and then having Link climb up. From here, you want to roll at the exact same time as Link finishes his animation, and this will result in Link jumping straight out of bounds. And now when you have a better understanding at how the different methods of clipping out of bounds work, let's break down this new Earth Temple route once and for all. For the first room, it's very easy to get on top of the statue, and once we're up here, you might think the simple answer is just to ledge clip with a bomb. However, once you grab this ledge, you cannot actually move left or right. Wherever you grab this ledge, you're stuck. All you can do is either climb up or jump straight down. So what we do instead is jump off the ledge and very carefully leave towards the corner where the statue and the wall meet up. And if done correctly, you can see that Link is actually partially inside of the wall. This allows us to climb up and do a roll clip and jump straight to the door, skipping the entire first puzzle. For the second room, we run into another issue. There is no ledge to perform a roll clip from, and the two ledges that surround this platform are simply too low for a ledge clip. This is where you combine the two glitches. By setting up a ledge clip and then purposely timing it poorly, Link will only clip through part of the wall. And now, you have perfectly set yourself up for a roll clip, just like the previous method. And since a roll clip gives Link a jump, it just barely gives us enough height to leap around the statue, out of bounds, and land on the door frame. And we can then open up the door, and we're on to the next room. Here, we face off 3 different rooms we can go to, and we straight away head towards the left side. And it's actually surprisingly easy to skip Medli on this portion. All you do is let the shield on Link's back reflect light backwards to break the elephant statue while you're leaping through it. Then, it's just a simple roll clip to go through this window frame, and we're on to the last room. This is unfortunately where things get a lot more tricky. The way this room is structured, none of the normal setups we commonly use will work. Well, this was until a clever community member by the name of Bowser's Board came into the picture. He realized that by dropping a bomb into a wall, we can use the momentum it had to push us backwards, making Link fall off the ledge. You can then react to this, grab the ledge, and then combine this with a roll clip, granting us access to finally go out of bounds. And you can then fly to the door frame, open the door, and finally, you made it to the room leading to the boss door. Oh, and there's a really cool roll clip you can perform to skip the boss key in this dungeon, meaning the medley won't be needed here either. And for the Wind Temple, we figured out a way to skip the 4 cycles you normally have to go through to defeat Molgera. By hookshotting his tongue at the same time as a bomb explosion goes off, you can interrupt the animation of him going back into the sand, and by repeating this process 3 times, you can take all of his HP down, and it will kill him right where he spawned into the arena, saving about a full minute compared to fighting him normally. And all of these techniques that I've mentioned so far only really scratches the surface of how far this game has come. Many smaller strats have been found all around the game, like this crazy strat to skip the puzzle in Bombal by doing an item slide and clipping under the ground, or this crazy odd shot strat that teleports Link up into the air, skipping the cave and cliff plateau, to literally playing the game blindly to skip even more cutscenes with the use of pause storage. This game has truly come far in the past 2 years since the so-called luckiest Zelda speedrun ever was completed, and I'm so proud to be part of this amazing community. And honestly, I can't wait to see what the future holds for this game, because when I think that Wind Waker HD has finally been solved, somehow, in some way, very talented individuals always appear into the scene to break it even more. This has been Linkus7, signing off. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. This was hands down the biggest video project that I worked on for this YouTube channel, so I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you want to check out these speedruns live, you can always follow my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Linkus7. Oh, and if you're interested in daily highlight videos, you should definitely check out my second channel, Linkus7 Daily. All the links will be in the description. Thank you guys for the support as always. I love you all tons. Later everybody! Bye bye.